if we could address you directly right now.
Everything comes full circle.
That's number one.
I don't tell him what questions to ask me.
There are a lot of people around town that have the same question.
Brush my teeth. I'm gonna get washed in the morning.
I can't confirm or deny.
And Eric Dievendorf.
Hey, what's going on, man? Again, it's not Monday, but it's Tuesday, but we still here.
We still here.
So, our last show, our last post, we were talking about the NIL a little bit, and it struck a nerve, I guess, with some people. You know, we were basically just talking about basketball NIL. And hey, what can we do to, I gulet accumulate more money for the NIL for the basketball program, right? And then it kind of,
let me give a quick recap. I'm gonna give a quick recap. So last week, while discussing our NIL issues, Adam Weinstein's name came up.
Weitzman.
Yeah. So Adam Weitzman's name came up, and I reached out personally to Chancellor Kent Silverwood. I reached out to him, and I gave him the opportunity, explained what was going on, even sent him our posts so he could see all the different comments, that everybody was making that agreed with what we were saying, that they wanted to know why Adam was no longer involved with the Syracuse basketball team. And this is what the fans want to hear. Like I'm showing you, Weitzman, everybody's like, okay, Weitzman was doing all this stuff out of the kindness of his heart. Was he doing a lot? Okay, yeah, but it was good. It was all good stuff, and you see all the comments from the fans and no response. So, the weekend went on, and, I got a lot of messages, and I heard all of your messages, fans, and we hear you. So we want to keep this conversation going. Now, interestingly enough, there was somebody in particular that jumped into some of the comment sections, and it caught E's eye. So I'll let you take it from here. But it shined an interesting light on the entire topic of who's at fault and why he's no longer associated with the basketball team. So go ahead, take it from here.
Yeah, so the Lalleys, and I guess this is the wife, Laura Lalley. She commented on Twitter. And on our Instagram post about it, basically saying that this was a right decision by the chancellor, not to have Adam Weitzman a part of the university or a part of the program anymore. And I know the Lalleys donated, I think, $25 million to the athletic complex. So it wasn't specifically for basketball. It was more so, I think he was a walk-on. He used to be a walk-on for football, and he played a long time ago. So I think it was more towards football, but I think this donation was more towards just like rebuilding the athletic complex, which used to be Manley Fieldhouse, right? And again, which I think is separate from the Mello Center.
Right, that's what I was going to ask. It's completely and people know the setup of it. The Mello Center is like over here. That new facility is over there. It's like two completely different facilities that don't have anything to do with each other, right?
At all. That's where the Olympic sports are. That's where I don't know if lacrosse does their stuff in there or whatever, but it's completely separate. Men's and women's basketball, they have their own facility. That's the Mello Center. So basically, their donation or whatever it was to that. It wasn't specific to basketball, which we were talking about basketball, specifically NIL, and who can we get involved to help the NIL out? And we were talking about Adam Weitzman, and then. I guess she chimed in saying that he never donated any money. He's a bad guy. And I don't. And she said that even Boeheim said he didn't donate any money. But then I went back and I don't think Boeheim wanted to say he donated any money because that was before the NIL. So I don't know if there was going to be a conflict right there with him donating money and before the NIL. But basically, again, I've heard from some pretty reliable sources that. These two don't get along. They. I don't know if it's two people with a whole lot of money banging heads, and one person is getting a lot of recognition, and the other person who donated more money isn't getting any recognition. So I've heard that she messaged him personally and just said some not so good stuff or whatever it is. And then, and I also heard that the reason that he's not involved with the university anymore is because of this woman, and basically saying that, hey, if you're telling the chancellor or telling the university, if you are dealing with this guy, then you're not going to get this donation of $25 million. You're not going to have anything. You're not going to have anything to do with us, and that's what I'm hearing. And look, a lot of people who were dealing with Adam were fired from the university. So I specifically, I know a guy who I work with who. I do NIL stuff with through my foundation. He used to work with SU, and he was no longer with SU because of his friendship with Adam Weitzman. So I don't know what the vendetta is or whatever is going on, but this is what I'm hearing. And if if I'm wrong, then we'd love to have her or her husband come on the show and set it straight for us. That's. Look, again, like we're talking specifically about basketball NIL. So
that's what I was going to ask. Why does she care about basketball if her donation and her and her husband's donation went specifically to the football facility? So has she donated anything to the basketball team or the basketball program?
No,
So why does she care what the basketball team does?
Basically, I guess they don't like each other. That's what I'm getting from it. But then, you go further, and then you're commenting about me and you, saying that, we're his fanboys, and we're, just ridiculous stuff. So now you're getting personal, and then basically was saying that, hey, what are you guys doing for the community, or we've done a lot for the community in Syracuse and outside of Syracuse. And I just want to put this out there.
She's talking about me and you?
And it wasn't, I don't think it was her specifically, but it was somebody she was going back and forth with on the comments, agreeing with or whatever. But and I just want to put this out there for people who say, hey, why aren't you guys donating? And I want to say this. I've partnered with an NIL group, outside of the university, who pays Syracuse basketball players. And, we run it through my foundation, and they do events for the foundation, and the players show up. We've been doing it for the last year and a half, and we paid the players over $500,000. And so people who are chiming in saying, hey, what are you guys doing? We do a lot. We're us just talking about it, trying to be, keep it relevant. It is hopefully helping the basketball program and trying to bring more recognition to what the basketball program needs as far as this NIL money. So I'm not going to go back and forth with you people on the Instagram comments, but trust me, we're doing more than you think, and I'll just leave it at that.
You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. We don't have to prove. You do so much in Syracuse. That's not even a question. I think honestly, you could run for mayor after a while. You do so much in the community. Your track record is set. Anybody's paying attention. But going back to and what is her name again? What is her name?
I think it's Laura Lally.
Lally.
John and Laura Lally. And again, I don't know them at all. But
yeah, I've never met them at all. But Laura Lally. So she had brought it upon herself to come into our comment section, and she was upset that we even had the audacity to bring up Adam Weitzman's name. Was that what her initial beef was?
And again, somebody went through I don't know if they went through the comments and deleted them. I know I can't delete them. It wasn't, I can't. I don't even have the power to delete them because it wasn't my post or whatever. But they must have went through and deleted a lot of the comments. But basically saying that we're using our platform for the wrong way, and whatever this is that we're doing, bringing Adam Weitzman up. We didn't even have to get to this. We're trying to figure out why he isn't a part of it, and if it's something that we don't know and you do, please let us know. Let us know what's going on, and don't attack us personally.
Yeah, so Laura Lally, we will say this directly to you. You don't have to go into our comments section and be upset. You come on the show. You can come literally on the show, and if you disagree with anything that he just laid out, as far as the reasons why Adam Weinstein is Weitzman, I keep saying Weinstein, Weitzman is no longer associated with the Syracuse basketball team, and if you had nothing to do with it, and say all these things are not true, then come on the show and tell us what really happened. But this is the information that we have gathered, that you are largely responsible, not solely responsible, but largely responsible, because also, Chancellor Kent Superroot had to capitulate to your demands. He didn't have to, but he did.
$25 million is a lot.
So he should answer to that. If that's the reason why, then he should tell Syracuse fans, well, the reason why that I did is because, this donor said that they would pull out, and I chose one over the other. They were, two people who didn't like each other for whatever reasons, and I chose one over the other to make sure that we ensure that the football team is taken care of, never mind the basketball team. Because that's basically what happened. So now the basketball team is now at a disadvantage now. We're behind in the NIL. We're going to be losing players because we can't pay them. That we have a situation where we're trying to have a crowdsourcing type of a thing to get all the fans involved to have to pay some of it. When we had someone who was willing and able to be able to, financially back the basketball team where this wouldn't have even been an issue. So yes, Chancellor Silverwood, you should answer to the fans and tell them if that's the reason why, then what is your plan to correct the NIL conundrum that we are currently in? But yes, I believe that the fans need from somebody.
And again, I don't know the whole story. This is what was told to me by a reliable source, really the person that we're talking about. And I'll just leave it about that. At that. But again, like when you're coming at us, attacking us personally and saying like we don't have, we're not using our platform for good. Come on, man. We got to talk about that. Like don't just come in our comments and say this and say that. And I know another thing. I also know that what I heard was, hey, if you have anything to do with this guy, we don't want anything to do with him. It's almost like I don't know, a blackmail type thing. Like look, man, like I don't know if that's a deal, but again, man, don't bring that over here. I'm telling what was told to me. And then when you come in and attacking us, criticizing us for what we're talking about, come on, like now I'm talking about it for real, because you come and attacking me personally at my character and what we do in the community. And I understand you do a lot in the community. You donate all this money, and I love it, man. That's what if you want to help out the university, that's what you're supposed to do. But it's awesome if somebody else wants to do that too. You know what I mean? Or if another person wants to help out. This isn't. Why are you competing?
But this is the thing. The two don't even cross. Like you can stay on your side of the fence and then let Adam stay on his side of the fence, which is the basketball program. The two they don't. So I know back in the day when we both used to share Manly, and you know what I mean. We both used to use the same weight room, and we both used to do all of that. That's different. But now the basketball team's in the Mello Center. The men and women's team. They're just in the Mello Center, and the football team is there should be no issues whatsoever. So now what she's doing is doing something that's detrimental to the entire university as a whole, because now the basketball team is suffering. So from your actions, now you're going to have the basketball team suffer. That's not doing what's best for Syracuse University. So yeah, you have a lot of questions to answer, a whole lot.
Yeah, a lot. But the whole thing is like, don't personally attack us and attack our character because all we're doing is reporting what we heard. It's the media. This is a radio show. This is what we're supposed to do. So we're giving the facts that were told to us, and we're putting it out there, right? And I know for a fact that a lot of it is true. And if it's not, please come on. And look, you could try to attack me in the community, or, hey, don't mess with this guy, Eric, because he's talking about us, blah, blah, blah. Man, I'm not worried about that, man. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure I'm helping out in the community. It's a community that I live in. But when you start, again, coming at me personally like that, it's a whole nother issue.
Yeah. No, I know we got to take a quick break. So let's take a break, take a breather. Everybody take a deep breath, and we'll come back with more on QSportsTalk.com. That's crazy. You said that she said, if anybody associated with Adam, then off with your head. That's crazy.
Man, this is what she said, man. I know she said that to people.
That's crazy, man.
And other people are not going to say that, but I will. I mean, I don't care. You know what I mean? Try to blackmail me to where I can't get stuff done in the community. Look, man, I'm not worried about that. Not worried about that at all. But yeah, that is crazy to me. Like, why would you? And obviously it struck a nerve because we weren't even talking about you, and you coming on our comments saying all this, and you got another lady saying that, oh, Adam must be your sugar daddy. Man, what? Dude.
It's all right. We'll have to. Well, hold on. What you want to go with when we come out? You want to keep going with this? You want to go and move off from it? Because you're right, though. We weren't even talking about her. She brought her name into it. We didn't bring her name into it. But we can continue. I think we got a little bit more to say. So if you want, we can go on from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of said what we.
All right, we said what we had to say. All right.
Had to say, yeah.
We want to go on with the portal stuff and people just jumping in the portal. I mean, the new sign we got and stuff like that, or
yeah. Let's hit that. We'll talk about Zephyr. Brent Zephyr.
You're gonna have to carry that one. I know absolutely nothing about Zephyr. Well, I'll try to look up something real quick, but I know nothing.
Yeah, man, it sounds like. Yeah, man, you can't just come in and start going at us. And they're saying, I don't know if Adam donated or not. I don't know if he, they say, some people say he didn't. He did. Man, look, I don't know. We're trying to figure out, hey, does he want to? I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Matt. It was yesterday. Yep. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, and then all the comments been deleted, man, out of nowhere, so you can't even see them. I'm sure we'll be getting some messages on the side. It's actually a lady in my who's on my foundation board that works for these people.
No, really?
Exactly, dude. So I ain't even gonna get into it anymore because.
All right, we said what we had to say.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Rye. Appreciate you, man. Yep. Yeah, these people crazy. Some of those comments, I'm like, man, come on, man. You guys are ridiculous, man. All we do was start trying to figure out what happened, and then went into a whole different,
But I didn't know her to even bring her name up. You know what I mean?
We didn't. We never did. We never did bring her name up. She brought herself into it.
Brought her name up. I mean, I think we can maybe make that point real clear because, people might say, well, why are y'all talking about
We are Galaxy Media Partners. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. This is the Etan and Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
Let me say real quick before we move on from this, but we did not bring this lady's name up. We posed a question to a Syracuse community as to why Adam Weitzman is no longer involved in the Syracuse basketball program. And we are in a situation where NIL is an issue. And we had someone who was willing to donate, willing to support the level that he was willing to support, and now he's no longer supporting. So we didn't bring, what's her name again? I keep forgetting her name because I didn't know her.
It don't even matter.
But I know she's big time and name on the building and donated football, but I did not know her. So she injected herself into this conversation, and only because we had the audacity to bring Adam's name up. That's what she was mad at. And that part is okay. Well, if you still mad, then like I said, come on the show and say your piece and tell us what you don't think it'll happen.
Yeah. Nah, that won't happen. Just like the chancellor won't come on, just like the AD probably won't come on. It's just how it is. Like and again, it's not something that is where you can't talk about it. You know what I mean? Out in the open. I don't think if this happened, it happened. You know what I mean? But for you to come that's why I'm kind of frustrated, because for you to come at us personally and attack us, our character, and say what type of people we are because of this, because we said this. Look, it wasn't even like a really, like we were like, hey, we supporting Adam or whatever. And I don't know what happened behind the scenes between you guys. I have no clue. All right. Good, bad, or indifferent. I have no clue. But we were just putting something out there. Hey, why isn't? Yeah, that's it. So for it says a lot for you to come at us and say the things that you did. And obviously it struck a chord, And again, we were just we were posing a question. That's all we were doing, and you guys took it into whole something else. And look, we're both in there, like and. They're like, when people start saying like, man, what have you done? Man, we gave blood, sweat, and tears. What you mean? We on the court. Sacrificed a whole lot.
You ain't even got an answer to that. People saying things like that, they aren't real Syracuse fans. You know what I mean? They don't, like I said, especially you. And the stuff that you do in the community right now, like anybody that questions anything about you, in particular, they're not real Syracuse fans. All right, we talked about that enough. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the transfer portal. So the transfer portal officially closes. Yeah, just go shift all the way from it.
Yeah.
The transfer portal closes officially tonight, 12 o'clock. So any player that wants to go into the transfer portal has to by 12 o'clock tonight. But you can still get guys out of the transfer portal for an extended period of time. There's still time. So it's interesting. We could talk about Syracuse just signed someone, and the reaction was a little bit strong from the fans. I saw a breakdown piece. I mean, he appears to be a very all right. So they're saying that he is a defensive guard, and that is the need that he is filling that we need on the perimeter. However, when you look at where he was, it didn't seem like he was known for his defensive capabilities. But I don't know. I'll let you explain. I'll let you break it down.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a depth piece, if you ask me. I mean, he's been 5 different schools. This is his 5th school in 5 years. Bryce Zephyr. So a 6'3", 6'4", 195 guard, big, strong guy, long, athletic. I guess he can play some backup point guard, so he has some playmaking skills. His first year, he went to Chipola. I said Chipotle. Chipola. Yeah, Chipola Community College, Salt Lake City Community College. Then he ended up going to North Texas, and then his last stop was in Montana State, and now obviously he's going to Syracuse. And they said he was a defensive guy, but then I was looking at a lot of comments, and he had the worst defensive rating on the team. So I look, again, these coaches are the coaches for a reason. They've obviously done their due diligence throughout the season and looking at these guys throughout the year. And knowing that they're getting into the transfer portal. So I'm going to put my trust in these guys, that, hey, he's not a guy who's going to be starting, but he's more of a depth piece who can come in and play hard defense and get out in transition, maybe hit a couple shots. But that's as much as I really know about him. And, I know fans were talking about, hey, we need another big. And they say, hey, I saw some podcast that say, hey, we don't have a guy over 6'10", or for me, I think the game is different. I don't think you necessarily need, and you might disagree with me, need a back to the basket guy anymore. I think for the bigs, how I'm going to structure my team, I want the bigs to be long, athletic. I want them to be rim runners. I want them to be lob catchers. I want them to be able to switch on pick and rolls. I want them to be able to be rim protectors. And if they could score and around the basket, that's more of a plus. I'm looking for wings and guards who can really score the ball, who are athletic, who could guard. And that's kind of the meat of the team that I would go after. So I don't necessarily agree with saying they need another big or a back to the basket guy. Tell me your take, E.
I would disagree. I think you need a Naheem McLeod on your team to match up with another team that has a Naheem McLeod on their team. And so I think that you need at least a 7-footer to be able to give yourself a little bit of flexibility to change things up if something isn't working. Now, is it going to be a starter? Maybe not. Is he somebody that's going to show out and pick and rolls and be able to do that? Maybe not. But I think that I think every team can use a 7-footer in certain situations. So I don't think the 7-footer is obsolete. So I would like to see us have, but also, per our conversation before, I don't really know what else we can afford as far as a roster. I think we've kind of reached our limit. Now, if Adam was still with us, then maybe we wouldn't be having this discussion, but he's not for a lot of different reasons. And so, I think we're a little bit limited to what we can really get out of the portal.
And again, we didn't NIL has been 3 years, 2 years. I don't know how long it's been, but this was he was involved with the program before this even started. So
Right.
people saying he didn't donate any money. I mean, I don't think he could.
Right. He made the groundwork for what he wanted to do. He said that he was going to commit $2 million or $3 million, one of the two, of his own money every single year to the basketball team. So whatever number that we arrived at for whatever different situations, add $2 or $3 million from Adam. You know what I mean? That was the plan going forward. And for anyone to look at where we are now and know that that was the plan that Adam laid out, that said that he was willing to do, and to just say, nah, we're not interested. Yeah, I think the fans deserve an explanation. I do.
And then too, if there's other people who are going to do that, I mean, let me know. And again, I've heard people say, well, people are going to donate. They don't have to be, recognized for it. All right, cool. That's fine too. So if that's the case, I mean, let me know.
No, wait, stop. I totally disagree with that. If somebody's going to donate, put their name on something. If somebody's going to donate $2 million every year, and you're upset because you don't want to put their name, you make them feel comfortable. $2 million every single year. People don't. I don't know if people don't understand money or what. $2 million every single year. That's what somebody's willing to do. No, you put his name on whatever he wants to have his name on.
No, I mean, I agree. And again, there's not going to be a lot of people in the Syracuse area. I mean, are you going to go outside and get these people? I mean, and E, I'm talking about, we're not just talking about for 1 year. How are you going to sustain this and create longevity in this NIL game? How are you going to?
You don't throw that away. There has to be a really good reason if you're going to throw that away. And that's why, Subaru, you need to let the people know what that reason is. Oh, we had to come up to a break again. The time goes by so quick. So let's go on a break and we'll be back. Well, let's talk a little about the NBA playoffs and the Lakers and the Timberwolves and everything like that. We'll be right back.
Was here for 1 year of NIL there.
Okay. All right, cool. 1 year. And that was the very first year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I don't know, did he donate any money or what?
He got Deasia fair money, but it wasn't a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I think he did one football player too. I forgot which one.
I'm sure Ed's going to be getting a call from the Lallies.
You think so?
I don't know.
Hey, they gonna fire us? She gonna say, clue. Hey, them two, they gotta go to. There's a lot.
If I haven't gotten fired, nobody is.
Say it again, Paulie.
I said if I haven't gotten fired, nobody is.
You said what?
Yeah.
Is this true? Did you see this, Eric? Somebody in the chat. Did Ryan Cabellas get fired?
Yeah, he did. It was in the paper.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he was the longest tenured with the basketball program, 17 seasons. That was my guy. He got there in 2007 because I had 2 years with Forcier, Todd Forcier.
He was really good.
Todd was really good, dude. Really good, really good. So it'd be interesting to see who they bring in.
Yeah, I liked Ryan. He did struggle at getting players bigger, but they were in great shape, like getting up and down the court.
Yeah, I mean, every strength coach has a different philosophy, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I
remember when Hakeem Warwick was, I don't know, it had to be Rob, right? Like he would have to sit after dinner. I would sit with Brad and Hakeem after dinner, and they would make him eat ice cream. Like they would sit and make him eat 2 sundaes after every meal, just so he would put weight on.
Really?
Like they had an all-you-could-eat ice cream bar, like so he would put weight on, like get the calories, and he was losing during practice.
Those are bad calories.
Yeah, those are the calories you want. Did you have Corey Parker at all?
I didn't. Corey was he was before me, but I heard Corey was cool too. I know Corey.
He's back now.
Oh, is he back?
Is he doing the Olympics? Is he doing Olympic sports?
Yeah, he does the Olympic sports now.
Oh,
Okay.
is that right?
Okay.
Yeah, that was my guy.
Yeah, Corey's cool. It'd be interesting to see who they bring in.
Yeah.
But he was just a good dude. I mean, Rye was.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
I mean, he's one of the best guys, you know. But what do they say? Nice guys finish last, I guess. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. I'd be in first place then.
You are in first place. You're in first place, Paul.
Assholes finish last.
You're in first place, man.
The Lakers game is tonight. They play tonight?
Lakers, T-Wolves.
Yeah, they got to. They didn't play last night.
Yeah. I mean, the time they played was what, Saturday?
You watched the Knicks game? Knicks, Detroit?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I didn't watch the whole fourth, but I did watch it. Yeah. Cade Cunningham was doing his thing.
Doing his thing. He was doing his thing.
I love Brunson, but I just think I don't like he does too much flopping, man. For real. Like
kills me. Like I said I was watching yesterday. I was like, why does he just play ball? All the you know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, just play. But if the rest
always trying to like hook somebody, like, you know what I mean?
And jerk his head back and I'm like, bro, just yeah, I hate that. But if the refs didn't reward it, he wouldn't do it. Don't call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop. I still got the Knicks winning the series, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll win it. I like the Pistons, though. They're young. They're tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a physical. It's been a physical series. It's like, back to the old, you know what I mean? Yeah. Pistons, Knicks. Ewing, you know what I mean? Ewing and them, and I mean Anthony Mason. Yeah. That was just, you knew you were gonna get beat up.
Of course.
But yeah, I like it. Did you see the video about Ant Edwards though?
Which
where
one?
He was saying, I don't know. He was saying something like
nobody picked him to win.
No, where he was yelling to the crowd.
Oh yeah,
saying,
I saw that one.
He does your body. Call Harding Mazzotti. 1-800-LAW.
It's crazy.
ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1, 1200 AM and 1440 AM. This is the Etan and Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Dievendorf.
It's the playoffs, and I got to ask you this Timberwolves-Lakers series. So game one shocked everyone. Them young Kings ran the Lakers right off the floor. Like, honestly, I thought it was a great strategy. Like, every time they grabbed the rebound, it was like the old Arkansas Razorbacks, Nola Richardson fast break. They just took off. And next thing you know, they were up 30. And a lot of people weren't happy with Anthony Edwards and his confidence and his antics. What do you think about his level of confidence and, all of his antics?
I think you need that level of confidence to be the greatest. And I think he said it before. He wants to be the greatest. Yeah, you could talk about, some of the stuff he does or whatever. It was a video where he was saying stuff, and he probably has to clean that up, just to be honest. But I Just a little bit, clean it up, you know what I mean? But we still want you to be you. We want you to be your authentic self. Maybe just, clean it up a little bit. And then maybe and again, like it's not hurting his play on the court, and I think that his confidence is so high that it rubs off on his teammates. I'm looking at the box score right now from the first game. Jaden McDaniels was 11 for 13, 3 for 3. He had 9 rebounds, plus 27. He had 25 points, 2 assists, 2 steals. Naz Reid, 8 for 12, 6 for 9 from the 3-point line. 31 minutes, he had 23 points. And Edwards, he didn't have his greatest game. He was 8 for 22, and he had 22 points. But I think his confidence exudes so much that his teammates feel that, and they're able to just kind of go out there and play. When you got a guy like that who's leading you on the floor like that, and just with his fearless mentality, it goes to everybody else, and mind you, he's playing against 2 of the greatest players of all time, for real. And I know it maybe, Luka hasn't been in the league, 7 years or whatever it's been, but he's going to end up being a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever play the game. And then, arguably, the greatest player of all time in LeBron James. For me, it's Mike, but other people would say it's LeBron James. And when you have those guys on the court and you're still, going at them and attacking them, talking back and forth with them, it makes your teammates feel good. I mean, I love it, dude. Anthony Edwards is just how he plays. Like he's aggressive, he's fearless, he's physical. He has all the tools. Like he can shoot the ball, he can get to the mid range, and I think that's what Minnesota has to do. They have to be able to get out and play up and down. Los Angeles isn't the youngest team with the freshest legs. So if they're able to do that and get up and down, and look, it kind of goes back to when we were talking about the trade with Luka in the Dallas trade. And look, I was wrong, you were wrong, and we admitted that. But now we're getting into the playoffs, and it's more so a defensive minded game, right? You really got to lock in and make teams play in the half court. If you're letting teams get out and play in transition, man, these guys are way too talented. If your team is in the playoffs, you got a pretty good team, and you got some talented players. And if you're letting guys run up and down, get wide open threes, transition dunks, and it's just going to give them more confidence. Los Angeles has to find a way to rebound the basketball and make Minnesota play in the half court.
It's funny. Me and my boys I got a group chat, and they all of them, Z, Robin, Scooter, I'll call y'all out, and all of them said that Ant was doing too much, with the Spider-Man thing and everything like that. And honestly, I'm not mad at it at all. Not that part, because nobody believed in the Timberwolves. You saw when Magic said that he was a little nervous, and everybody was like, "Oh, Magic don't know what he's talking about." I was like, "Man, first of all, that's Magic Johnson. Yes, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And 2,
No doubt.
He had a reason to be nervous." Did you see how them young Kings was running past the Lakers? Like you said that they have to do something to try to, adjust. They're slow players. That is a great strategy. That is exactly what you was talking about when the trade happened, that you was worried about their lack of athleticism and how slow they were, right? Yeah. Luka, LeBron, great players. But it's a little different. So, yeah, they're going to have to figure this out because, Anthony Edwards and all of them, they're ready. So it's and they're confident. And that's the thing. They're not scared. They're not like, okay, this is, 2 of the greatest players and, we're grateful to be in your presence. No, they're looking at it like, no, we're coming for you. And we're going to tell you about it while we're coming for you. So I love it.
And I love their makeup because Jaden McDaniels is probably the best perimeter defender in the NBA. They got a rim protector in Rudy Gobert, right? They got a little veteran leadership with Mike Conley. He's been in the league so long, so he could give that mentorship. They got Julius Randle, who's a do-it-all forward, and then you got a superstar in Anthony Edwards, right? And then you got guys coming off the bench. Naz Reid, he had 23 points, what I mentioned, in 31 minutes. Dante DiVincenzo, he's a guy that he could go off for 20 plus. We've seen him do it with the Knicks. You got Alexander Walker. Like, these are young guys who could come off the bench and give you 10 to 15 points a game. And I'm looking at the Lakers. Austin Reeves, I love him as a player. Defensively, he's going to struggle. Who's he going to guard? He can't really guard anyone. Luka, same deal. He's always going to get his buckets. You got Rui Hachimura. He's a good player, but look, and then you go down the line. LeBron, he didn't have a good game. Dorian Finney-Smith, like you go down the line, and then it's kind of it gets. real light. Jared Vanderbilt, he's not giving you any offense. These guys on Minnesota have some firepower, right? They have some firepower. So, Los Angeles is really going to rely on these guys, named LeBron James and Luka Doncic, to really score the basketball. LeBron's going to have to do more than score 19 points. And somebody, Ant Edwards is not going to shoot 8 for 22 from the floor every single game, right? And the reason they won was because these other guys, Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels, and they're not going to have games like that every single game. But when they don't, Anthony Edwards is going to step up and have 30 or 40, right? He's going to have one of those games in the series. So, I picked LA, right? And I'm still going to go with LA because I think that with LeBron and Luka, they're going to find a way. But man, this series probably go to seven games, man. And again, it all starts with Anthony Edwards and just his confidence, right? He gives everybody else confidence because he's such a confidence player and he's fearless. He doesn't care if he's going against. He wants to go against the greatest player. We saw when he went against KD, right? That was his favorite player ever growing up. And he says it. He says it multiple times. But you saw in the playoffs, I think it was last year. He's talking crap, doing back and forth. They're going back and forth. Like, he wants these matchups. And I was that type of basketball player. So when I see a guy playing like that, I love it. I think that's what the game is. You want to play against the best. Like, that's the competitive spirit in you. So I'm a huge fan of Anthony Edwards. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
So as you said, it's not just one player. And the greatest Anthony Edwards is, I do think somebody needs to introduce him to some, protection contraceptives, so he can make some better decisions. Because I think that's going to catch up with him. But that aside, I think that he's a phenomenal player and he's not scared. And that's the thing. He's not scared. He rises up to the challenge. So I'm taking the Timberwolves. Even though I know that the powers that be would love to see the Lakers, advance, I know for marketing and advertising and, ratings and everything like that, everything says Lakers, you might see them get a little bit of favorable calls. I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Timberwolves just going to keep running right by them. So we'll definitely have to see. But hey, let's take this quick break and we'll come back with quick hitters after this.
And also, you got to think about Golden State. Man, Golden State. Oh, yeah. I knew Jimmy Butler got them on some different stuff, man.
Yep. And I got to admit, I was one of the people that was a little bit nervous when Jimmy Butler went over there because I was like, okay, how's he going to work with Draymond Green? How long is it going to take for them to butt heads? But it seems like they're doing all right so far.
Yeah, I think, because Butler's definitely not going back down.
Yeah,
he's definitely.
So that's why I thought they was just going butt heads.
But I think Draymond understands and respects, like, man, Jimmy Butler way better than me. Regardless if I've been the he should. So that's when you kind of like fall back. Like, all right, Jimmy, do your thing.
I see Draymond Green the falling back type. I think in his mind. You know what I'm saying? In his mind, he like Dennis Rodman level. Like he's, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like I don't know.
Oh, how about this? So somebody just put in the chat that MCW, Michael Carter Williams, makes his amateur boxing debut.
Really? Okay, that I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. So Ryan Mullen said Anthony Edwards' role model off the court is Sean Kemp.
Oh.
Man, Sean Kemp, woof.
Yeah, you don't want to follow that.
The Rain Man was definitely making it rain.
He was making it rain way too much.
Way too
much rain going on.
Oh man, shout out Sean Kemp because I love watching him and GP play.
Oh my God, he was the truth. The way he from the floor jumping, the way he was jumping, athletic. Yeah, no, he was the truth.
He was. You know what sticks out in my mind every time I hear Sean Kemp is when he dunked on Chris Gatling, and then he sit there, and then Chris Gatling dapped him up after.
Like, what else you gonna do? Like, at that point, you're in that situation. I don't know. I would have dapped him up though. I'm like, put your hand down, man.
I definitely wouldn't have dapped him up. But at that moment, Chris Gatling was like, man, look, you got it, dude. Like, you got it. Like,
you mad?
Etan, anybody ever dunk on you, or you were like, oh?
Of course. Of course, but I ain't dap him up, no. I'll tell you that. I did not dap no.
The greatest dunk I ever saw was Kevin Johnson on Mark Eaton.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one.
He got Elijah on too, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
On the baseline?
Yeah.
I don't know, Kobe over Dwight Howard. That when Dwight Howard was with Orlando
That was pretty good, not going to lie.
That one right.
Shaq says DC is like the only two people ever really put him in the rim, and he said DC was one of them.
DC was one of them, yeah.
Yeah, he is aggressive, dude. DC, and I remember Vince Carter dunking on Alonzo Mourning when he went up. Alonzo hit him, and then Vince just went back. Boop.
Yeah.
Vince, I mean,
natural hops, like, bro.
Yeah, it was different. Yeah.
Another crazy one. I don't know if you remember Dan Marley when he dunked, and it looked like his head was at the shot clock when he.
Dan Marley or Tom Chambers?
I remember Tom.
Was it Tom? It might have been Tom Chambers.
Tom Chambers, I remember. Yeah.
He jumped off 1 foot in the middle of the paint, and he lifted higher. And whoever he dunked on, I don't know who it was, but
Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Dievendorf.
We'll be back with quick hitters. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go ahead, E. Knock it out.
Okay, now listen. I saw this story yesterday with my guy Shannon Sharp. Okay, and I know way too much about Shannon Sharp's bedroom activities. Way too much, Unc. Nothing but respect for you. You know, I interviewed you for my book, We Matter, Athletes and Activism. Great, interview. But, first it was Michelle, your Michelle, you know what I mean? And now it's this. And I was reading that statement, and, your lawyer put out, and I was just like, you know what I mean? You're a big old freak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need
big old freak.
Big old freak. I was like, I don't need to know all of this. I know way too much. I feel you trying to defend yourself, and, I don't have a law degree or anything like that, but perhaps it would have been a better strategy to put out a statement pointing out the fact that the lawyer, Tony Busby, is the same shyster lawyer, in my Victor Newman voice, that falsely accused Jay-Z and who Jay-Z is now suing for defamation and extortion. Again, I'm no lawyer, but for real, I think that would have been a better strategy than putting all your freaky bedroom habits out. And, I didn't need to know all that. But much respect to you, Unc. I hope it all works out.
Yeah, I mean, what was going on with that? I mean, did he mean to put that out there? I mean, he could have just handed that over to the. I saw him put it out on Twitter or what through his personal handle or whatever it is, like the text messages that she was saying, and yeah, big old freak. What's going on, man? Like, I don't know. Keep that to yourself, man. I don't know if it's thinking it's gonna help his brand or something, or like I mean, more clicks, more views.
He's gonna laugh about it like he did the Michelle thing. He's gonna talk to Ocho Cinco about it, and they're gonna laugh about it. I just didn't need to know all that. You know what I mean? I was a little uncomfortable reading that, to be honest with you. But
yeah. He's a different cat. But I mean, more power to you, Shannon Sharp. If that's
okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Well, so my quick 1 minute is. I wanted to shout out Ryan Kabilis. He recently was let go or parted ways with the Syracuse University basketball program. For those who don't know, Ryan was a longtime strength and condition coach. Actually, the longest tenured person who was a part of the basketball program was 17 seasons. He was at Cuse for 17 years. He got there in 2007. So I was able to work with Ryan for 2 years. Todd Forcier was there my freshman and sophomore year. But Ryan, he really helped me a lot through my ACL tear. I tore my ACL in 2007 when he got there in December, and I spent a lot of time with Ryan in the weight room, on the court, and off the court, just chopping up and talking. And besides him being a top-notch strength conditioning coach, he's an even better person. He's one of the best people you'll know. He knows my family really well. My kids were around him. So just one of the best people. And I just want to give him a shout out, man, because I know how this business is, especially now with the NIL and, whatever they're doing on staff at Syracuse, trying to create more room or get more money, whatever it is. I just want to shout out Ryan Cabillas, man, because there's no one better in the business than this guy as far as a human being, So I really appreciate you, Rye. I texted him this morning. Just say I wish him and his family the best on whatever his next move is. And I'm sure he'll land in a great spot. But hey, E, this is the business, with whether it's sports or, something else, things like this happen, people part ways. And what he did text me that kind of stuck with me was, hey, I'm always Syracuse through and through. It's just I just graduated a little bit early. That's what he told me. And for a guy to say that, after losing his job, it says a lot about him and speaks to his character and what type of person he is. So again, Ryan, I'm wishing you the best. You've been a part of the Cuse family for for as long as I've been here.
17 years. 17 years is a long time.
17 years. And I worked with him those 2 years, but every summer I came back and, he put me through workouts, and I was on staff, for 2 seasons with Rye. And that was one of the guys that, I just talked to about life stuff, forget about basketball. He was the guy that you could go to and just kind of vent to and just chop it up about different things. So I'm really going to miss him. And I'm just wishing him and his family the best. And, whoever Cuse brings in to replace him, I hope they get a top level person, like he was, because again, he was one of the best guys, and just wishing him and his family the best.
That's what's up. So I know we're wrapping up now. Let's end it with Laura Lally. Come on the show. If you want to come on the show and talk about all that talk that you want to, but really, if you want to defend yourself and you say everything that we said before wasn't true, you didn't have nothing to do with Adam, you value Syracuse, all that good stuff. But honestly, why would you not want someone to help the basketball program out? I think everybody deserves an explanation for that.
And give us some of that money on the basketball side. If you want to, you chime in on the basketball side. We talking about hoops. This has nothing to do about the complex or football or nothing like that. We talking about basketball NIL. So if you want to go ahead and donate some of that $25 million over this way, all right, then let us know.
You could do that, and then you don't have to worry about us being without. You're like, okay, I'll take care of it, and then you take care of it. So then that's a solution. That's wanting the best for Syracuse. Not doing something that is to Syracuse's detriment, if what we heard was accurate. But that's it. That's not it. Go ahead.
That's it. We're not competing. No, I'm saying it's not a competing thing. Like if we'd want another donor to come in and bring one of your friends, right, and bring one of their friends. You know what I'm saying? And now we're rolling, and now we could all be happy together. We're not competing in who's bringing the most money in or doing this and doing that. That's not what it's about, man. We're trying to help out the Syracuse basketball program. So yeah, if you see it, you and your husband come on, chop it up. Hey, we can make it with the AD, the Chancellor, Adam, all them. Come on, chop it up. We can have. I don't know if we have enough screens for that, E, but I'm sure. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But man, look, no love lost. We just reporting what we hear. That's all it is, and then. I got frustrated a little bit because when you attack our character, now you bring it into a whole nother level. So again, we just appreciate everybody tuning in. I thought it was a great show today, E, and let's get it again next week.
Sounds good.